Hey guys, now you guys tell me what you think of those two clips I just showed you. Anthropic, little shaky now. So you guys tell me what y'all think. Drop your comments in below and tell me if Anthropic, if they on some bull. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, thanks for joining me at App World AI, man. We got some good stuff for y'all today, man. We're gonna talk about Claude Sonnet 5, and we got to see what's going on, man. So let's go and get right to it.
So Claude Sonnet 5 is here. Now, Anthropic says that this gives you performance close to Opus 4.8, but at lower prices. But in reality, that doesn't seem to be the case. And this seems to be the first Sonnet model that is intentionally undertrained. Now, the good news is that you can actually try it. It's available right now in Claude.ai and Claude Code. There is still no news on Fable 5 and Mythos 5 for general availability.
What's up?
Now, this is genuinely a great model for design.
Let me say this real quick. If Anthropic, let's get right to it. If y'all put out Mythos, right? But then you come out and let people use Fable 5, like, I don't care what the government's saying. We already used it. Put Fable 5 back out. Don't come and put out Claude Sonnet 5 and it's bullshit.
Encoding. And based on my tests, it's extremely powerful for one-shotting different applications, even without the Claude Code harness. Now, there are some really interesting things in the technical report, including the model seems to be self-aware that it is being tested. Okay, so I'm going to show you some live tests, but before that, let's quickly look at the blog post and some benchmarks. Okay, so they are framing this to be close to Opus 4.8. It's actually much better compared to the previous Sonnet 4.6, and it's a big version jump. Seems like the next Opus is also going to be Opus 5. But in reality, the prices are actually higher, and I'm going to explain that in a bit. So some benchmarks. Now, if you compare it to Sonnet 4.6, it's a huge improvement all across the board. And interestingly, it's actually getting closer to Opus 4.8, but it's not yet there.
But it's not there yet.
However, on things like computer use, word knowledge seems to be pretty comparable. But when it comes to agentic coding, this is where it seems to be lacking behind. Now, on third-party benchmarks like Frontier Code from Cognition, it actually surpasses Opus 4.8, which is really, really strong. So if you look at it, it's actually better compared to the previous Sonnet model, lower than Opus 4.8, but it's probably more expensive if you want to get to similar level of performance. And it's very close to GLM 5.2 high. So I would say that this is probably a GLM 5.2 level model, probably 3 times more expensive.
China's open source model
capabilities which are not available in GLM 5.2. So this is agentic search performance by different effort levels. Now, Anthropic is providing this. The orange one is Opus 4.8. The gray one is Sonnet 4.6. And then we have Sonnet 5, which is substantially better compared to Sonnet 4.6.
It's better than 4.6. We know that.
But it's actually lower in performance compared to Opus 4.8. I would say it's probably Opus 4.7.
Listen, y'all.
Performance.
I'm going to say this. I love AI. AI is my life, right? I eat, breathe, sleep AI. My thing is this. Why do we have all these models? Anthropic, can you tell us why do we have all these models? Why do we have a Sonnet 5 and a 4.8? Does it make sense? And a Haku, whatever. Does it make sense, guys? Comment down below. Does that really make sense? We should have one model at a time. Give us 4.8, make it usable for everybody. Look at China. For example, GLM 5.2, cost effective. I use GLM 5.2 and it's damn near as good as 4.8, Opus 4.8, and GPT 5.5 codecs on high. So come on, guys. They need to fix this. It's a money scheme. They're getting too much money out of us, guys.
However, if you look at the price point, this is where it doesn't make any sense. So let's say if you use Opus 4.8 on high settings, it's actually a lot cheaper compared to Sonnet 5 for a very similar level of performance. Now, there's another benchmark, which is agentic compute.
But here's the thing. So look at this chart, guys. Most of AI use. I've been using AI for two years plus. Most users, we want to save money and we want to save that usage, right? So if we are paying $100 a month, right, and they let you use it for, once you use your usage, it runs out on you. If you look at it, most users wants to use it on medium. So if you look at medium on Sonnet 5, right, it's like using high on 4.6. And if you use Sonnet 5 on high, it's almost like using max on 4.6. Now, if you go medium on Opus 4.8, it's like the same as using. It doesn't make sense to me, guys. You guys can see the chart. I'm looking at it. That doesn't make sense.
So if you look at Opus 4.8 on high, the performance is very similar to Sonnet 5 on max settings. But
expensive.
You are paying substantially more on the API use. So realistically speaking, you probably want to use Opus 4.8 because it's going to give you.
Why use Sonnet 5 when you can use 4.8 if it's the same price?
Cost. So it seems like Sonnet 5 is not a token efficient model at all. Now, I think that is the reason they are providing a discount. So they're launching it at introductory price of.
What lower price are they talking about?
Input token and $10 per million output token through August 31st. And then they're going to change it to $3 per million input token and $15 per million output token. This is very similar to the current Sonnet 4.6.
Yep.
So one thing you notice across all Anthropic releases is that they keep the pricing pretty stable. And this is probably for the first time that they are.
Is that stable for these regular people?
Discounted pricing. Now, this brings us to its capabilities. So this was specifically not trained on cybersecurity tasks. They deliberately did not do that. And I think one of the reasons was for them to be able to release this model without going through the government review. But then they say that on evaluation testing potentially dangerous cyber skills, such as developing software exploits, it shows substantially poorer performance than models such as Opus 4.8 and Metis 5. And this, I think, is deliberate because they want to make sure that they don't have the cybersecurity capabilities that is going to flag government review.
Listen, guys.
You actually see the performance is much
worse. Let me say this real quick. If they keep fucking pausing these doggone large language models, right? You keep pausing the models, China is gonna keep going higher and higher and higher. What race are we trying to win? Look at GLM 5.2. Look how close it is to Opus 4.8 and Codex. Like, they better stop playing. They better just release it and let us use what we're gonna use, because China is finna excel in a minute. And in a minute, y'all finna lose a lot of customers because then everybody's gonna be using China models. So you better get it together.
Continue to something like Opus 4.8
keep it real.
Metis level models, which is pretty expected. But even with that, they're saying since Sonnet 5 is somewhat stronger than its predecessor on these tasks, we have launched it with cyber safeguards enabled by default. Now, with these cyber safeguards, I think there are going to be a whole bunch of rejections because this is going to trigger the classifier. And we might see similar refusals that we were seeing in Fable 5. Okay, let's see how exactly does this work in practice. If you go to Claude.ai, it's available. In terms of effort levels, it starts from low all the way to max. I don't think it has ultra code. Okay, so it's already available in Claude Code, and you can actually set it to ultra code if you want. I'm going to probably create a more detailed video on testing it inside Claude Code Harness, but let me show you its one-shot capabilities. Okay, and for this, we're going to be using Claude.ai. I ran this on extra settings for a couple of prompts. So let me show you those results. Now, the very first one was asking it to design a web page. I really wanted to show how good this is at web design. And it's really strong. So out of the box, the web design doesn't really look like AI generated slop, which is pretty neat. I think it definitely needs some more work, but this is single shot. Most of the models that I have tried actually struggle with this specific prompt, but it seems like it's doing a pretty good job. Now, the second one was a bit more ambitious.
Tell me what you guys think about that website.
Asked it to create a real-time 3D tracker for location, and it's supposed to use the real-time API. Okay, so this is self-contained in a single HTML file, which is kind of impressive, and it created the animation. The rendering of the globe seems pretty accurate. Now, it also added this simple tracker where you can actually see where exactly the current location is.
Okay.
Now, I actually checked it, and that seems to be accurate, which is pretty neat, right? It's able to pull the real-time data and then plot it pretty nice.
Nothing exciting.
And
I mean,
something like this was not possible with the earlier models at all. And keep in mind, this is single shot. I also asked it to design and create a detailed voxel art scene of a pagoda in a beautiful garden with trees. So here's the output. Seems like it's pretty good. However, if you try to zoom out a little, you actually see the colors fade away. It also gives you the ability to regenerate, which is pretty neat. And you can also change it to day and night. Although I would like the colors to be a bit more bright. You can
this voxel is not impressive.
See the petals,
now,
petals
Gemini,
right? And
Gemini has, even though Gemini is a lower model,
so there,
very
right?
impressive with the voxel on Gemini. Go check out Gemini, guys, 3.1.
Decent job at visuals and UI components.
Or Google AI Studio.
Now, overall, I think it's a very strong model compared to the previous Sonnet model. However, as I pointed out, in some cases they have deliberately tried to nerf this model. Now, given its price point, its token efficiency and performance, I will probably still stick to Opus 4.8 for most of my.
Listen, guys, thank you for joining me. Listen, I'm going to stick with Opus 4.8. I'm going to stick with 5.2, and I'm going to stick with Codex. It's no reason to even go mess with this model for what. It's like, basically, they just wanted to put something out, guys. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, this was very, very, very disappointing, guys. Hey, comment in below. Let me know what you think about Sonnet 5. If you use Sonnet 5, what did you make with Sonnet 5? Hey, come join us on our next video, guys. I think the next video, I think we're probably gonna do something with Revenue Cat. So I'm gonna show you guys my live apps that I made already. I got some dating apps and I have some other learning, educational apps and stuff like that. So I'm going to take you guys to Google Console and let you see my real apps. I'm going to take you to Revenue Cat because I think Revenue Cat, this is one of the hardest. You know, I'm not going to lie to you. I struggled a lot when I tried to get my apps on the Play Store. It was nuts, you know, because I was just having a hard time with it. But I'm going to show you guys an easy way to get everything plugged in, your prices, everything, and get on Google Play way faster, within 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, you know. So I'll check you guys later. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for stopping by. It's your boy Man. Thanks for checking out World AI. Boom.